Hey guys, how are you doing today? So I'm going to show you how I make these three-tiered plates out of random plates that I get from the dollar store, the Goodwill, garage sales, wherever, um, and some hardware that I get off of Amazon. And you do have to have a couple of special things. So the first thing is that you need a hole saw that's small and has diamond bit coating. The size of bit you need depends on the size of hardware that you get. The hardware I have, this is an 8mm bit. Obviously, I have a whole bag of bits because, let me tell you, you go through them pretty quick if you're making multiple. You would only need one bit if you're just going to make one set of 3 plates. And I just realized my hair looks funky, so please ignore that. That's not cute. So I also have, now this isn't specialized by any means, but it's just a board. Just a simple board that was in scrap lumber. And I had Kevin use a spade bit. I mean, I could do it too, but I didn't know where his spade bits were. To drill a hole partway through the board. And the reason why I wanted it partway through the board is so that when I'm drilling a plate or bowl, I can put it over that bowl, and this gives me stability. The board gives me stability, and it also protects my work surface, in this case, my desk. The other thing that may not be as easy to tell is that a towel all over the place and a bottle of water. I know that's a Monster Energy drink, but I swear to you, there's only water in there at the moment. And of course, you need a drill. This one's corded. You could use a cordless. That part so much. The important thing is that you have a drill that's strong enough to get through a porcelain plate. The next thing I do, other than getting all my things together, is I mark the middle of the plates. Now, this one clearly is a little easier because you can kind of eyeball the center of a weird shape because of the pattern here. But on something a little less easy to tell, like this, what I use is this type of a ruler. And this side snugs up against the side of your plate to hold it still, and it's slightly off center so that you can measure your plate, cut that in half, and then I just use a Sharpie to mark on the middle. I do have a silver Sharpie that I use on darker colored plates when I can't quite get these out of the way. Now, the other thing that I got, now this is something I actually got, I believe it was at Lowe's, and it was a little kit for drilling into ceramic tile. It was in the ceramic tile section. And it was specifically for, like, when you're trying to add fixtures in a bathroom, in the shower where there's tile, or I guess even in the wall where there's tile. And you have to not only try to drill through porcelain, but do it in an easy way. So it's a little square plastic with a tube that goes through it. And it comes with adhesive. This is not the same adhesive it came with because I used it all up pretty quick. But the idea of this is that, I mean, in a shower, you stick it to the wall where you need your hole, and okay, the stick is not very sticky anymore. You stick it where it needs to be. You put water inside of here, and you can drill it, and it'll cool your saw as you're going with that water, so it doesn't overheat. Because let me tell you, water's important to not overheat it, and you can drill through the plastic. What I found this is really good for is once I've got that hole there, I take this, I get it over the hole. I think it's time for new adhesive though. I just press it down to this, and I take this and I get a pilot hole going. Because I'm on a flat plate or bowl, because I'll do the bottom of bowls too, depending on the plate, sometimes it's easier to do it from the bottom up, and sometimes it's easier to do it from the top down. But if you're doing a bowl like this one, you have to mark down here on the bottom, and you put it this way upside down when you're drilling. So there are some tricks you definitely have to work with on this. But I found a random piece. And this is a little plug of ceramic that comes out at the end. I just found one randomly sitting over here. I usually have some kind of a small bowl or bin or cup or something to throw the pieces in. So that's the equipment basically. So if we take this, and this one might be a little challenging because it is in fact raised, but see, that's how you just press it on there like this. And then I get that hole over the top of the hole in my board. And now here comes the loud part. Okay, so if you see there's a little bit of a pilot hole here, that one actually drilled super fast, so it's got a bigger pilot hole than I would expect. So at that point, I take this off for my guide. I take the water and I pour a little in the center of the plate, and then we go back to the loud stuff. Now, how long that step takes really truly just depends on how thick your plate is, the material it's made out of. Some china, like actual fine china, bone china, is probably going to be harder to drill through than, say, stoneware, which is probably what this is, because that drilled really, really fast and easy. And then I just wipe it off with a dish towel or a rag. So there we have our plate with a hole. Now we just have to do this a couple more times so that we have our plate stack. So let me finish that real quick. One thing I forgot to mention is that sometimes the little end will get stuck inside of the bit. And this is a nifty knitter tool. Anything you can find to just pop it back out of there. That just hit my camera. Just because you don't want these building up in there, because if they built up in there, eventually it won't be able to drill a hole properly, because it had the whole point of the center of that drill bit being hollow is so that it can make a solid hole. So now we have, let me move this board out of the way here. Now we have 3 plates, and I'm sorry, I've got schmutz on the screen and I have to clean it off, even though it's not where you can see it on there. The next thing is assembly. And I have a bucket of hardware because I have it in different colors. So somehow I got a sticker on my finger. Let me see if I can find a full set here. I've got all the ones I use for display together. I think 1, 2, 3. Do I want black or do I want silver? I want silver on this because silver makes me think of snow. Now, I have these in 3 colors, as you can see. I have found them in other colors. Sometimes it's a little bit more expensive, depending on the color you find and the style you find. But these are the 4 I have so far. And they're lightweight, so you couldn't use these for too heavy of plates or they would be really wobbly, which I have found a couple of the plates I've done do end up seeming a tad on the wobbly side. So far I have not found heavier hardware to use. I've only found this one type, a couple of different styles of the top, but nothing heavier duty. So because I've used this one before, I've got all the pieces stuck together down here. So basically it comes with a bunch of these little white kind of rubbery washers, one metal washer, one little screw, and the 3 pieces of stem. So the first thing you do is on your bottom plate, you take the screw, the metal washer, and then a plastic washer, and you put it through the bottom of your plate like this. And then you put another plastic one on top of that. And this is to protect your plate from the metal pieces. Then you take one of the straight stems and you screw it into here. Now, if you really want to be, it doesn't want to catch. Oh, is this plate too thick? That would be so disappointing. I think this plate's too thick. Oh, I wonder what would happen if I took off a washer. I can do it with maybe. Oh, I think this plate's too thick. I'm so sad. No, I got it with one. No, I can't. Oh, that's so sad. All right, so I'm going to take out, I hate to do this, but I'm taking off both of the plastic washers on this one. Apparently, this one is such a thick plate that I'm either going to need to go find a thicker screw for this one or do it with absolutely no washers. And I hate doing that, not because it's the end of the world by any means. I mean, I'm sure the plate will survive, but it's just not as stable. So you want to screw that in as tight as you can. You can absolutely grab a screwdriver and put it in the bottom if you need to. Now I'm a little paranoid about the others. This is the first time I've ever had a plate be too thick for these. So then on the next layer, you put a washer, your next plate, which this still has some of the sticky from the tag on it. And you put that one on top like this. You put another washer on the top of that. And you do your next tall, skinny one. And oh my gosh, I think this one is, man, this one is just going to be my problem child. I've never had one be so problematic in my life. But this one, both of these plates so far have been too thick. And so you just holding on to the one below it and holding on to that one. I really feel like that bottom one is not screwed in well enough and I should really grab a screwdriver. But I'm only taking a picture with this and showing you how it's done. So don't necessarily need it super stable right now. I just need it on there. All right. So, you know, I'm not even going to try the washer on this one because at this point, I'm pretty sure this plate is also too thick. So we're just going to, oh yeah, absolutely. Put our little snowflake on the top and then your last bit here and you screw that onto the top. I might have been able to get a washer onto that stack. All right, and there we go. That is the end of that. That is one cute, wintry little plate. Turn it a little bit. There we go. Just so that you can see it. Cute little plate that you could use for hors d'oeuvres, for desserts. As you see, it is a tad on the wobbly side. I really, like I said, I really feel like a screwdriver should be used on the bottom to hold that still when assembling to make sure it's good and tight. And I might need to start looking harder for some heavier duty hardware. But there we go. Quick little project. As you see, it doesn't take very much time. The biggest thing is needing to have the right equipment. So you have to have the drill. You don't necessarily have to have the board like I did. You don't necessarily have to have the guide, although I did find that it's very hard to get a pilot hole started without that guide because the drill bit wants to skip across the plate surface, which then could damage the pattern and not be very cute. So if you've ever wanted to take random plates that you have or random plates that you found at a thrift store and turn them into a tiered tray, that is how you do it. Bye, guys.